All right. So we've already worked on this section for these managed sites. We need to continue with the other section for the site. So for example here, or let me open the stuff. So we have manage landing page. So under the design, we have other items that we need to work on. And as you can see, there is no overstate on this, but we're going to be adding it to it soon, like that. Okay, this is loading. Yeah, it's done. So if you look at it, there is a section that we have. So we need to work on this section here where we need to have a content on the left and we have another content on the right with all this data. So where are the data coming from? We don't need to stress ourselves. The project have all the necessary material. So I'm going to open this with Notepad. And we should have it there, and as you can see, all the text that we want to use, they are here. We just need to add them. So where we're going to be adding them, we need to go back into our backend, which I already have open here. And as you can see, I'm already in the Elementor interface there where you can perform all the design. And as you can see, this section has been created already where we have the container. Then inside that container, we have two containers. So the one on the left and the one on the right. And you know, when you want to create different section here, to do it, just click on this plus button. As you can see, it will bring out a template for you. But this thing actually have more than this. So it actually have what we call templates. So it comes with a template. And once you click on this, it will open the Elementor blocks page and template. Blocks is just like your a particular section on a page. Like, you know, all these design that we normally have, they have a pattern that they used to follow. So it comes with some of these predefined pattern, but if you look at it, all of them are pro. But you can add on to be able to have this. And as you can see, you can specify the type of the call to action. Call to action is something like this, where you have a kind of like a text, and you now have a button that is calling them, or something like this that is down here. You can see you have a text and you are calling them to perform action. So that's what we call call to action. So when you're designing for someone, you need like a call to action and you don't really have the design in mind, you can just come here, and as you can see, it will bring out different call to action that you can use. Then you just go with the one that you want. But most of their stuff is free, is pro. But that's the reason why you need to add on, so that you'll be able to have all those things free. Again, too, it have pages. So instead of you working on the pages yourself, you can come here and see a template for pages. So the only thing you just have is to input the data, not that you be, as you can see, this is a page, this is another page. So it comes with different type of pages, and as you can see, it comes with popular trend, and again too, you can search for it. And again, here maybe you have this kind of a section on your page. So you too, you now want to create it as a template so that you can reuse it every time. Then you can come here and have a template. For example, like this section that we have here now, we can convert it to a template later on, which is something you can do for this side. If you look at it now, as you can see, this here and here and here, they are the same thing. The difference is just the content that is there. So you can do one, convert it to template, then from there you just be inserting it for the other one. But we don't need to do that, because we can just duplicate a particular section, because it makes it easier for us to duplicate. So if you open the structure back, any one of these container here or any of the item you have there, you can duplicate them and you move them to anywhere you want to move it. And but look at the one I talked about, save as a template, so that later on, maybe not in this file, in another file that you want to use that same thing, then you just go to that template and you just import it by clicking on this folder. Then you go to template, you are going to see all your template that you save here, like that. But we're not going to be using all those one, because most of the item you have there, we can just duplicate it and we're not using it in another page. So, but I mean, in case you're using in another page, it's better you save it as a template, so that you just be importing it, not that you have to create it again from scratch, like that. So yeah, what do we need to put there? we need to put the content. So let me close this. So we need to start with the left content, and as you can see, I don't think that side is working. Maybe I don't know what happened, but yeah, we have this section which is what's different about whatever stuff like that. So I'm going to copy the text, go into that place. So this is the text here. Copy the text and put it inside the heading like that. So take everything and paste. Remove this empty space that is there. So the other thing we need to do is to paste the title or the subtext that is there. So copy this one too, like that. Click and update the content. But this thing is copying the space that I don't want. So you need to remove all those unnecessary space that is adding into this thing. Yeah. And now we have it. But you know, this is not the title that we're supposed to use it. So we just need to click and now we go under the style, then we update the necessary stuff that needs to be updated. But first, let's look at the design. So okay, what different about and manage is the one under, which means it's okay already like this, because what's different about and manage is already being placed. So the only thing we need to do is to change the color, and the color has been set up already like that. Where's my color? So text color, this is what I'm looking for. So open it, and as you can see, all the color has been set up. So we just need to pick the color that's meant. No, this is not it. So the color that's supposed to be there is this dark. Yeah, so this is it. So because it's the same color as what we have here like that. We don't know the font size. Assuming we know the font size or we have the Figma design now, we just go to the Figma, look at the size, and you update the stuff. Again, too, I don't need to do anything with the fonts. As you can see, using the normal font already. Why? Because all this thing has been set up in the global setting there like that. So if you click on this one like that, as you can see, is using that font already because it has been set up globally. So if I go to the setting once again, there like that, and under the fonts, under the typographical rather, as you can see under the typographical here, so it's come with the variable that you can set up like that. So if you look at it for the H1, for the H2, and so forth like that, but instead of you doing it from here, we can actually do the global font, because here you have to be changing them one by one. But once you use this global font, because you want to change the font, so as you can see, it comes with primary, secondary, so you just need to switch like that. So once you click on plus, you see that it's using that font family already. The same thing here too. Everything has been updated to the fonts of the design that we are working on like that. So the paragraph too, might need to update that one in case there is anything for that, but I think we've set it up already. But if it is not, what you just need to do, listen, I've started again because that is not allowing me to click on. So what you have to do once it's doing this nonsense, what you have to do is to reload the entire page like that. Once you reload, then it will allow you to uh, work on the element once again. That this element are used to add funny sometimes, but once you reload, everything is going to come back to the way it's supposed to be. So let me wait for it, and once it's done loading, we should have our content back. But again, to look at what just happened now, just look at what just happened now. Everything that are there before, see that they are no more there again. So when it happens like this, what you have to do is to leave this elementor, so x6 like that. You used to act funny like this sometimes. So you can see that everything that we have before. So you might be thinking it has reset. No. What you have to do is leave Elementor and re-enter the stuff again. As you can see, it's back to, so we just need to go back to our pages like that. Then you click on the page that you are working on, and everything will come back. So this is what we are working on. So what you just need to do, edit with Elementor, so it will go back to that place and everything should be fine like that. Once it's done loading, so what else do we need to add? So we need to, we are done with this section. So the other thing we need to add now is this one here, and don't forget again too, there is this image this overlay like that. As you can see, it enter other contents like that. So what we're going to do is now it's back. So what we need to do is that you can see this container. So you can see that this is the height of the box, but we need to increase the height if you want, or based on the content that will be coming here later on, it will adjust itself automatically. But we can actually talk to it that it should have a minimum this thing. So for us to do that, we can just click on it so that it brings out the settings. So if you go under the let me say check the layer, as you can see the width, that's a problem here. Has it changed? Because if you look at it now, you see that the width are not balanced. Why? Because we modify the width of the max width of this one, but this one is still using the default one like that. So if you look at it, its default width is this 1040 like that. So which means when you have a screen that is big there like that, this is the maximum. But if you check the one at the top, you see that that one has been modified. So you see that that one is 1200. So that's why it is not balanced. So what we need to do is to firstly update this one too, so that our design will match each other. So 1200 like that. So let me publish, and once this thing is published, it will update the front end of the site so that every other person can see what is going on. Because if you don't publish, it will only be for you, not so the people that will be checking the site. And as you can see now, things have changed, but there's a problem. You see that this thing has adjusted, because no, we adjust that 1141 too. So we need to update that, and I did not even look at that side, but it's still the same thing. Yeah, but what I would do is to make sure that I adjusted the width here, and the width is not adjusting. As you can see, the width is default. It will just expand anyhow because we don't have any content on that side. But I don't want it to be like that. So what I want here is a custom width, and again to it is percentage like that. So what I will do is adjust it until it matches what I want, and once it's there, then I know that. So now it's using 70, another 70 something like that. So publish, and that's where it is going to stop. And for the other text, as you can see that the text too is under it, so the text is not more than. So this is what I'm talking about here. So look at the content that we have. As you can see, everything stop under the A, but our own, as you can see, it's go more than that. So we need to adjust the width. So here too, let's just go to the advanced. So from there, we change it to custom width, and make sure that this thing is in percentage, and there we adjust it until it gets to the part. Well, let me increase it a little bit like that. And let me see, we might need to even reduce the font size, but I will just leave it as default font size as it is and just make it like this. And again too, I think the spacing in between them they're like that. So if you look at the manage and this, there is a bit of a gap, but here now our own is not like that. So how do you do that? Don't forget they're in a particular container, so we just need to go to that container and we apply gap on it like that. So yeah, you can use the slider so that you see the stuff, or if you know a value, just apply the value. But I think I will use 32, which is 2 rem like that. I think it's okay. So to have the stuff on the site again, we publish it, and everybody will be able to see what is going on. So the next thing we need to do now is to walk inside this place. But if you look at that place, so you see that it have its own this thing. As you can see, the content are placed on top of each other, not that they are side by side. So what we need to do is we need to click on this container. So once we click on it, it's going to bring out a setting, and as you can see, by default it's showing that they are going to be placed on top of each other. So the direction is colon, so which means we don't need to change the direction again. So once we put something inside it, it's going to make sure that they are on top of each other. But what do we want to add there? We need to add a container. And what container do we want to add like that? We want to add a container that can, don't forget, all these things, they are grouped together. So in order for you to do this, you need to know how to create your content, because that's the first thing. That's the reason why that place now that you are joining all the elements together. So you need to know where to create a container and where not to create a container. So me looking at this now, I can see that there is a container here, which is what we already have. So which is this one that we have already. But inside it, again, we now have another container for each one of them. So this is another one, and this is another one. But inside each one of them, if you look at it, you see that the container is split into two. We have this container that is holding this one, and we have the container that is now holding this content. So when you do it like this, you'll be able to put this counter by this side, and you'll be able to put these two by this side without affecting what is going on here. So that's what you always do. You look at your element first. Okay, how can I, do I need to put it in a container so that I'll be able to apply my CSS later or not? So any one of them you need to create a group for, then you put them in a group. If you don't need to create a group, then you arrange them in the container. But all your element will always be coming from a particular parent. There's no way your element will not have a parent. Even the body is coming from the HTML. So every other element inside the body too, they are going to be in a particular parent. And if it's only the parent, that means the parent is going to be body, because it must be somewhere, and that parent will not be the one that will control them. So this is what we need to have. We already have this outer one already. We need to start creating this inner one like that. In order for us to create that inner one, so we need to drag our container here like that. So inside this container, going back to that image or bringing this in again, see that inside the container, we need to have the container for this left, and we need to have the one for the right. But you notice that this one is placing them side by side. So which means this container that we just added now, we need to make sure that it is placing its own content side by side. So we'll just need to change the direction to the row. So from there now, we can go back to the add, and from there add a new thing inside it like that, and at the same time go back to the add. And but you need to be careful here because this thing, it needs to add it to the correct side. As you can see, it's adding it in the way I don't want, and that's where this structure comes in to simplify things for you like that. Because if you look at it now, you can see what is happening. It's putting this one, is this one inside this one inside, but these two supposed to be under this one, not that this one will. So what we can do is just to drag it like that, because the two of them supposed to be side. Can you see now? So they are now side by side. So you need to, because if you don't put them in the correct place, it will not arrange it the way it's supposed to be. So anytime you want to do it here and it's not going, just come to your structure and you use that to arrange the stuff. So this one now is the one that is going to be holding the counter, while this one is one that is going to be holding this text or this title and this one. So what do we need to do? We need to add a counter inside this. So to add a counter, what we just need to add here is just a container, and we style it, but it's not a button. It's just a container that have a text inside it. So what we need to do inside this one, we can just right click and we add new container. So this is another way. So once we right click and add the new container, it's going to add it here. Then you just need to drag it to where it needs to be like that. But as you can see, it's not where it is. So it will be creating nonsense like that, because I want it to be inside that one. Now it's still not in the correct place. So it's supposed to be inside this element of what's going on.
So, sir, to create this,
Let me remove. Yeah. Yes.
to create something like this in a code now,
Yes.
the container has been side by side, and you go or the container goes side by side.
So create it in your code like that. So looking at it, you are going to have, this is a entire stuff, the main container. So inside this main container, you want to have all these other item placed on top of each other. So let's just say this one is this is going to be, so let's call it main like that. So then inside this place, you want to be having all the items. So we're going to have div, then this is going to be item, but that's the first item like that. So this is another div. Again, you are going to have div, then item 2, which is going to be the second counter like that, and so forth. But inside this item 1 like that, you need to have a div, which is the counter. It have counter, which is that number by the side. So this is the container for that one, which is what I want to create right now. Then after that, we have a div which now holds the text. So that's what is going on there. That's what we are doing now. So this is we've created this. So what we are doing now, this is what we are working on. So we've created this, and that's the one we talked to, like, to put things side by side. Then inside it, we are now creating another 2 containers. So this first one is this container here, and that second one here for the text is this second container. So the next thing is that to put the actual content inside them. So for this one now, for example, let me click on this. What I just need to do is to add the heading, but it's adding it to the wrong side. So what I just need to do is copy the heading, then drag it into this box, like that. Again, another thing I need to add here is a text. So drag it again inside that box, and as you can see, it has the total. But now we need to update this in, and again, too, the heading is not going to be H2. It's going to be around that. Let's use H4 for it. And what is the title for that page? So the title is this, as you can see, it's this track wide progress, like that. So update the stuff with that text, close every other text that is there. We're going to adjust the style, like that. Then the next thing we need to put here is the actual text, like that. So copy, better you paste it from here so that you'll be able to adjust the one you need to adjust. So close the spacing, like that. Close this space, and I think it's okay like that. Now we have this content, but here we need to add a counter, like that. So how do we add the counter? So close this. So we have this one like that has been selected. So we just need to click on this plus. So do we have anything like that? We are not using icons, so we don't. Let me close the pro. We cannot use all this one. So let me see if this thing is going to give us something like that. So link in bio, all this one are pro, so we cannot use them. So rating, we're not dealing with rating. What we can just do here is to use text in general. So let's just use this heading text directly there. So paste, and what do we need to put inside? We just need to put one. But don't forget from the styling now, that's where you now make sure that it's random. But I want the stuff, you can change the code. So I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be div, or you want it to be span. So yeah, I'm going to use span for it, not H1, because it's not heading. So from there, we can go back into our styling now, and we start applying the style. So the color is going to be white, so, or this very pale red like that. And what is the background color? So we can go to the advanced tab, like that. So we have the background section, and from here we can specify the background. So it's going to be normal background like that. So we just need to pick the color, and it's going to be this our pale whatever stuff, like that. And the next thing, we need to apply the border and the border radius like that. So as you can see, the radius, because if you look at the stuff that we are trying to build, you can see that it has a radius, and again too, the width is not going more than the content. It has spacing inside the box, so we need to add all those things. So let me scroll up first, and under the layout, so what we need to do is to add a padding, and I think 1 rem is okay, but it's using 1 pixel, so I always love to use rem like that. So this is going to be 1, and as you can see, that spacing is not inside the box. But we don't want the stuff to just be going wide anyhow, like that. We want it to be a custom width, like that, which is just going to be the width of the box. Or instead of doing it like this, we can just say inline. No, it's not giving me full width. Nah, it's too much. So let me see first. Let me see the spacing in between them. They are actually close. So what we can do is to talk to its parents, like that. So we want this one to take the remaining space that is left. There are two inside the parent. So this one should take the remaining space that is inside the parent. So what can we do here? We can just go to that parent and make sure that, let me see. So we have this align. We already have the gap like that. So what I can just do is to click on this, and we can give it flex 1, like that. But if you look at it here, there is something like flex 1 like that. So what we can just do, as you can see, it can shrink, it can grow, and we can apply this thing. So flex grow is 1, and flex shrink is 1. So which means this thing is saying is that it can grow and it can shrink, which is the same thing as what? So this is the same thing as you applying flex 1. Because when you say flex 1, it's the same thing as you say it can grow and it can shrink. But the problem here is that there is one other property that's supposed to be here, which is the width. So that one now we can just adjust it by ourselves by going back into the layout like that. So do I have this full width? Because because I want it, but it's not supposed to be more than 100% like this. So what we can do is to apply it from the HTML. But instead of us doing that, let's just adjust this one and reduce its width. So that one will make sure that this one expand like that. So here now, what we can just do is to change the width. So here I'm going to reduce, and as you can see, that one will be adjusting automatically there like that. So and I think around here. So now let's go back into this one. Then we need to move the text to the center inside it. So how do you move text to the center inside the stuff? You know, we can align to center, we can justify to, no, not align self. It's not the self, it's the content that is inside it I want to move to center. So let's go back into the content. I have this, so go back into the style. So text align, so we have it at the center like that. So text color has been changed like that. All right, Paul. All right, so we don't know the size of the text. I'm just going to leave it like that. So we need to, what do we need to do? Let's go back into the advanced section, and we need to make sure the box is rounded. So let's go into the border radius. This is pixels. I always love to use rem. So here I'm going to try 1 rem, which is okay, but this box, the height is not up to the width. That's the stuff. But our own is having like a square, because if you look at it, it's not square. So and again to the value itself, it's having 0 in front of it. So here I'm going to change it to 0 1 like that. So we need to make sure that the height of the box is not up to the width of the box like that. So what we can do here, so where is it? So we have the width like that. Let me see, because I don't want to use custom CSS to adjust the stuff. So under my style there I have the setting like that, and it's because we are using text, so the height is getting adjusted automatically there like that. So this position, we don't need position. We might need to use our CSS like that, but I don't want to use CSS, and that's the reason I want to use the box before, because it will use, okay, this is what we can do like that. So let's just adjust the container first, the height of the box, no, not the entire stuff. So let's take this, and as you can see, we can know like this. I want to be able to adjust the height of the box, but it's not, and I don't want to apply custom CSS. No, it's not with, it's the height we need to change, or you increase the width, which is not, how many days in the width apply padding 1 rem, which is really much. Let's use 0.5, 0.5. It's not allowing me, so I have to use pixels like that. So pixels, which is the same thing as 8. So it will give us what we, yeah, it actually, because before it, that thing is really high. So because I'm using 1, so let me, we don't really have the value, so we have to use something that, but I think it's okay right now, the padding, because I was using 1 rem, and that 1 rem is really really big. Again too, we need to change this color, which we're supposed to even do globally, because I don't want to be changing my color every time like this. So going back into the style, so selecting now is not it. This is what I want to select. So going back into style, so we need to go back into the text color, which is going to be this dark blue, because that's the color. Again, to all these texts are not like that. It's not big like that. So it's just small text. So what we need to do here is to go into the style like that. So I will not supposed to be changing all these color text too, but what is here? So this one, we can actually pick something from here. As you can see, you can pick different setting that you have globally, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to change it here, maybe around that 12, like this. So 12 pixels, like that, and I think it's okay. But let me check. The title too is really small. It's not this big. So typographical like that. So this one too should be around that 12, or let's say 14, like that. And what was the spacing in between them? So I think the spacing is actually okay, like that. As you can see, we have one of these items. Let's publish and see how it looks like first on the main page.
Typography now is like
Where you
the
change,
font.
it's not just about fonts, it's a combination of the fonts and the text property. You know that is, if we have font properties, I have the text property. So it's now combining the two of them together is what you now have is that. So okay, go into the site. So reload, we should have the two contents coming out there. And as you can see now, we have the stuff where we have this one by this side and we have this by this side. So now we don't even need to use template. We just need to copy and paste. Since we are not using in another page, but assuming we want to use another page, then template is useful. But since it's still on this page, so we don't need to be using template. So to copy and paste, just find a container like that. So I think this is a container. Okay, let's see, close. Uh, okay, this is the entire box. So this is the one inside. So this one we need, because you need to know which one you are duplicating there. You know, this is one on the side, and this is the container on this side. So inside it, we now have this. So we need to duplicate this one how many times? Let me check. So one, two. So we need to add more. So we just need to right click on it, and you duplicate like that again. You right click again, then you duplicate like that, and we're going to have the three. So the next thing is just to update the text like that. So for this one, it's going to be O2, like that. And for the title, so let me get the stuff, which is going to be this advanced whatever stuff like that. So no, that's not it. So paste, remove all this one, and for the text too, get the copy like that, then click on it, change it from here so that it will be easier, or you can even do it from there too. So it all depends on which one you want to do. So let me remove all these side, we have space, so just close anywhere you see white space. Then for the third one, so we have O3, and for the title, so just get it like that. So everything, whatever stuff. So paste. Oh, I thought it was going to press empty space. All right, get the other text, which is this whatever stuff. So copy, and from there paste the stuff, which you can do from here or you do from that side. But let me do it from here. But can you see now? So I prefer this side like that because it's easier here. So you just quickly close the one you need to close like that. But assuming all the texts are in one line, then easier to do because it will just space. So now we have it. What we just need to do is, but I can see that this gap is really much. Look at it. If you look at the design, you can see that gap is not much. But our own here, the gap is really much. And what is going on there is because, as you can see here, each one of them actually have a particular height attached to them like that. So let me check. So why is this height really much like that? So this is a box like that. So let me see what is inside it. So this is this left one, and this is the right one like that. So what we can do is to check that container that is holding them like that. So under, do we have anything like gap? Let me use zero first. Yeah, so remove that gap because the value is using, because this thing have a lot of space already. And again, to inside this container, do we have anything like that? So let me turn them to zero. No, this one is not what I want to turn to zero, because it will now be doing the one I don't want. So the gap we want to turn off is I don't want to do too much work. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is before because I think it's actually okay like that. So let me control Z the stuff. Yeah, because I don't want to, I have to start going over all of them one by one again. So I don't want to do that. So and I think let's leave it like this and publish like that. Let me remove the structure and let us go back to that page. But our text is not using the same text color for now, but it's something that we can update from the global setting like that. Because if you look at it, it's picking the color from that global. And once you go and update it there, everything are going to update here automatically. And that's what we're supposed to do for the title too. We don't need to be changing them one by one since it's this, like the color is the same across. So we just do it globally, just like the way we did the color, and it will be easier for us to work with. But before we go, this button we did not. This thing is not having overstates. So if you go back there, you see that there is no overstate. But according to the design that we are working on, this thing is telling us that something needs to happen on it when it is over for a particular for that one at the top. But there is one that is, even the zone background is different. But so this active state is the one that tells you what is going to happen when you move on top of all these buttons. So if you look at it here, so when you expand, as you can see, it's kind of a dim, like the color is dim a little bit compared to, no, this is the original color, but it have this light stuff attached to it. And the one down here, as you can see, this one, his own is reversing the color. So the text will not turn to background and background will turn to text. But the one at the top, so we need to do that one first. So by going there, so once that one is selected, we just need to go into the style. Is this where we have it? Then we need to switch to the overstate like that. So the text color will still be the same thing that we have, which is this very pale red like that. But the background now, the color is still going to be this bright red, but we are going to use a light version of it. No, we do not have that one as variable. So that's no. I pick the color first, then come into the custom color, then adjust what I need to adjust there like that. So anytime you move on top of it, it's going to give us this light one. Oh yeah, apply it. What's doing you? Let me publish. Oh yeah, pearl is border that I'm changing because I was wondering why is it not changing. Is because I did not change the background color. So where's my background type? Once again, come outside. So this is what I'm supposed to click on. I don't know why it's bringing out that one because I was saying that it's not changing. It's supposed to change from here. Yeah, so this is what I was expecting, which is wrong. Like that. So what we need to do is let me pick the color again because it's not supposed to be far from the original stuff. So it should just be somewhere here or somewhere here. Assuming we have the color code now, it will be easier. But since we don't have the color code, so we have to just, I think it's okay like this. So the next thing, publish, so that we have the stuff there. And anywhere we need it, you can actually copy a style of one element. You don't need to recreate the stuff again. If you created a style, just right click on that style. As you can see, you are going to see copy. And again, you can go and paste the style instead of pasting the element. When you use paste, it will paste everything like the way we did it here. It will, like, we use duplicate. But instead of you duplicating the stuff, what you can just do is copy, then you go and paste it wherever you want. But instead of you pasting the element, you can paste the style from the element that you copy. So instead of pasting the entire stuff, it will always paste the stuff like that, and you can reset anything you want to do. So make it easier for us to work with like that. So since this thing is published, so we just need to go back. So reload the page, and once this thing get there, we should have the background now on our button. So now it's giving us that overstates like that. So again, we have this section, but with this part here now, we need to add that stuff there like that. And how do we add this in again too? We need to even adjust this one because I don't like the way it is showing like that. So what we can do here is to I don't what it's not supposed to be there. So that means this thing was added to somewhere that is not supposed to be, because this is the container. If you click on this now, as you can see, the container is here. The image is not even getting there. So how come in the original store or on the site is not showing that it's touching the ground? So something is wrong there. So to see what is going on, go back to the advanced like that, and here on where are you? So we have or go back to the style rather, like that. So under the background overlay, like that, you can see it's there. So I see no reason why it should be cutting out like that. So display size, it should be this. Opacity is that. Blend mode, if you want to blend the stuff like that. So but first, let me go into this layout. Then the minimum height of this box, let me just increase it a little bit like that. So I want it to be like close to 100% of the stuff. Then go back into the style and our background overlay like that. So X position, which is on the X, which is supposed to be 100. Oh, then on the Y, let me move it. So you see, because it's really much than 100. So let me try pixels, but I don't like pixels. Problem with pixels is that it's not based on the elements where its element stops. So let me see here. Don't forget this is supposed to get to the body, and for the Y it should just go up a little bit. This one is using percentage, so let me change it to pixels too, like that. So for the Y it should go up like this, but there is a problem. I don't like pixels because it's not depending on the parent. If the screen is bigger than what you are using right now, it will just but first let's check it and reload the page like that. And as you can see now, can you see, that's why I don't love, because it's not depending on the parent, it's depending on, it's just calculating the pixels of the screen. So it's not calculating where that element stop, and that's why I always prefer percentage for anything that is depending on something or depending on the container. So if it's depending on that container, it must be percentage. If not, if you go to a screen that is not up to this 66 whatever stuff, it will be off. So but once it's percentage, since that one will be increasing, then it will recalculate the value. So let me use 130 like that. And for this one, let me use minus 10 or minus. So let me just move it. Let me use the slider. And this one is really inside 125 like that. So save. She's not supposed to be getting down. So save the stuff, and from there we should have the content. Yeah, so this is percentage, but still is really, let me check what percentage I use. Minus 100%. This minus 100%. I have to use my own custom CSS, but for now I will leave it like that because we still have all that thing to do. So let's check this container too. So for this one, like that, let's do the same thing. So under the style, we have the background overlay. So this is going to be background. Click on this, is not gradient. Then choose the image, which is still the same image, like that. So select the image. Is going to be repeating. Something is wrong. What's wrong with this Elementor? So now it's repeating itself, but we don't want it to repeat. So we don't want it to repeat. So what do we do? We change this to no repeat. We want it to be positioned to the bottom this thing. So what we just need to do is to change this display size is too big. This thing is too big. Let's use contain. So it's going to contain inside a box like that. And for the opacities, let me just increase it a little bit, or let's leave it at that 0 point something. So for the position, this thing is going to be positioned as a bottom left, because this is bottom and this is the left side. So position which is here, but you know it did not really get down the way we want it to get down. So instead of us using that, we can use our own custom value like that. So you know on the X, it's supposed to be by this side. I'm not using pixels, should be percentage. So on this, just move it that. For this one too, it should be percentage. Just uh what's wrong with Elementor? Come outside. It's not moving again. It's still loading. Y position on the Y. Let it be 100. Let it be this. Let's use 150 like this. The problem is this contain. Let me use custom width, because that thing is not. Let me use custom width. Yeah, so that I can reduce it according to my own design. So yeah, on this should just be 100. Let it come down, and for this, let it just be. This thing is not showing the full stuff that's supposed to be there, but let me paste it right now, or let me publish and see what is going on. It's supposed to be by this side, so which I need to move the X close to this side. Then for the Y, it needs to enter inside. So it needs to enter inside. Let's use 1/7 or 200 like this. And for this side, it will just come in. So what was the width? Let me reduce it a little bit. I think it's okay like this. So you keep reducing and adjusting it until you're okay with it, like that. So refresh, and from there, and as you can see now, it's still not, it did not really use the actual size that I'm using there. Like that. So let me remove this. So you too, you can inspect, and that's where you knowing a barcode comes in. And can you see? So the way it's working is depending on the screen. So that's the reason why it looks like it's coming down like that. So on this screen, like that, it did not really look well. So how do we know what is going on there? So what we just need to do is to inspect and see the code is generating for us, and that's where you need to adjust. Because sometimes when you want to do something that is custom like this, you have to write the code for it. Where is the section? As you can you see that it's generating all the necessary div. So this is the container, like that, and if you inspect the style, you are going to see that it's generating all the necessary code. But what I'm looking for is the background there, like that. So where did he hide the background? Let me see. So which one? So this is that's the left, and this is the right, and this is the entire container. But I still know, oh, it generated another div again. Another div is there again. So this is this div. So let me see, is it the one that is having background? Yeah, so this is the one that have the max whatever stuff. So let me check. As you can see, it did not add it to where it's supposed to be, and that's the problem. So that's why it's getting contained. So this is where the image is supposed to be placed, but I think he's using some stuff to add. Yeah, as you can see, he's using some crazy CSS stuff to generate this stuff. But assuming I'm the one doing the code myself, this container itself is the one that is going to have that background image, not the color. Is the one that is going to have that background image. But now look at it. Is now doing like creating. This is a pseudo element, a way of creating. So before this one now, this is the element. So before it, so what it's going to do is that it will now position the stuff absolute, because that's what it needs to do. So what you have to do is to position the stuff as, can you see now, position, and that positioning that is crazy. So it will not be adjusting like the container, and that's the reason why all these images are not being placed correctly, because the stuff we want to do now cannot work with what we are using to do it. So what we have to do is to look at, as you can see, all these elements. Can you see that there's a class on all of them? So it's generating a class for them. So what we can do here is that this container, we can actually give it a class that we want. So based on our own class, we now apply whatever we need to apply on that element by applying our background, whatever stuff. So if you look at it now, so any element you are working with, so if you click on them, you see that once you scroll down under the advanced, so under the advanced, you see that there is, can you see, class ID, this is the ID, and this is the class, any one of them you want to use. So from there now I can just call it so I will just say div, or let's just say about, so about, like that. So here now I can publish. Then once we go back to that page, it will give this ID. So based on that ID now, we can now add a widget that will allow us to include CSS, because this thing will not allow you to change any CSS on it because we are using the free version. If you click on it, you can actually do it directly from here. As you can see, custom CSS, but it said it is pro version, so you cannot use it. Assuming it's not, assuming we have pro now, so all those elements you can quickly adjust any of the CSS that you want in case the thing is not following the actual stuff, because now it's not following it because of the way it's creating the stuff behind the scene. The way it's generating it is not the way I'm going to do it, because doing it like that, it will not match because the screen can change. So it will only work for the screen that you are designing for at that particular moment. Once we go to another screen, it will not work, because the thing is depending on the screen that we are using right now. This, as you can see, from here to here is what it's using. But once the thing change, it will not get the calculation right. I can see now that it's not working like that one. But now if I change this thing, or if I bring this thing back, you can see that it adjusts, because is depending on the screen. But we don't want it to depend on the screen. We want it to depend on the container. So wherever the container stop, that's where your button should be, not because the screen is not changing. That's why we are saying it here, it's okay here, but by the time we go there, it's not okay because of what is the code is generating for us there. So it's not supposed to be using this after. It's supposed to be here, like it's supposed to be background of this one directly. But let me see if instead of us using that overlay, we can actually use let me see if we can use the background directly instead of using that overlay. So that overlay is a way of making sure that the thing is at the back, but it's not doing it in a way that is not supposed to be doing it. And that's some of the disadvantage of all these editor, because as me you are the one doing it, no, you know what to do, but you know it's a computer that is generating this, and so sometimes what is generating might not work for what they're doing, and that's where the custom this thing comes in that you need to work on there, like that. So let me go back into this style. So instead of us using background overlay, we can actually use background like that. So let's use background, which is still going to be this, but that background overlay that we added before, let's remove it. So here I'm going to remove the stuff like that. So delete. So once it's deleted like that, deleted like that, so we'll not have that stuff. But let's use the background. Let's see if it's going to do it background correctly, because what we want to do, we don't want it to be adjusting based on the screen, adjust based on the container where it's being used. So let's see, and yeah, and as you can see here now, let me reduce this stuff and scroll down. See, okay, let me increase this stuff. You can see now that that one too is still doing the same thing. Let me publish this one first and see the code is using for this. But if it's not proper, then we can now create our own custom this thing later on. But for now, I will leave it like that. But later on, when we are done with all the other elements, then we can now adjust those parts. But first, let's create all the sections. You can see it's still the same thing. To me, it looks like it's still using the same code. Can you see now that I see something that was here before, now it's moved up because of the screen, so it's still doing the same thing. So let me check this container, and as you can see, it's still using that before. And what it's doing is I'm using this thing to place something at the back of it like that. So based on that, it's now, can you see it's changing some background, whatever stuff that I don't want it to change. So as you can see that that thing has removed. Is that it's come back to this side because it's, can you see it's changing some CSS behind the scene, like that. So that's why it's moving around. But what we can do there is, don't forget we actually have the stuff to change the stuff. So yeah, now I know you're dealing with desktop, but we can go to this side. As you can see now that it has come up. So now we now need to readjust this. And that's why I said we're going to come back into all this one where we move into the responsive design. We are working on the desktop right now. So once we move into the responsive design, then we're going to adjust the stuff. We can still use this thing, but we have to be using the stuff to adjust it like that. But still using the same setting that I use. So let me delete it from here. No, no. Let me return it back because I want to return it back. Then we adjust what we need to adjust later on when we are dealing with the responsive design. So where is it? Okay, layout. Ah, click on the container. This is background. Where's background overlay? Like that. So let me Control Z so that it go back to the way it used to be, like that. So which one is this? Okay, that's background overlay. So I will leave it like this for now, and once we get to responsive design, then this one will come in later on. So which other thing we have there? So the other section we have now, that one is kind of crazy because this testimonial we can actually design like this, but if you look at it, you see that this thing is not showing the entire content. So this thing is telling you that this is like a scroll stuff. So it will be scrolling from left to right. In the this thing that I work for, like this company now that we built. So since we built this one by ourselves, we use a library to actually do that stuff. We have it here too. Can you see? So this is how testimonial used to be. So it's not that it will just, it's not all of them I will show. You see that it's changing. Some of them it will be moving like, it will just be saying that it's all of them is moving one by one. Not that it's just, it's waiting for some seconds before changing to another one. So to do this thing, it requires JavaScript, not just you just putting the HTML and the styling there alone. It needs to be changing at a particular stuff. But instead of you creating this thing yourself, that's where plugin comes in. And this thing actually have it, but it's not free. So if you check under the pro, you are going to see Tessie. Where are you? You can see it have this loop carousel, and again it should have the testimonial or so like that. Yeah, so this is another version like that. So that's the thing you can use to create that kind of a testimonial. So but since we don't have access to it, what we need to do right now is to leave this site like that, go back into WordPress, then we look for add-on that can give us testimonial like that. Then based on that, we now use it and we style it according to our own taste. So click on the WordPress to go back to the home or to go back to the dashboard. They're like that. So go to the plugin section. Then we click on the add plugin because we only have Elementor. We don't have any other plugin yet that we need. So we just need to come here, and what do we need? Just search for Elementor. It's going to bring all of them out like that, all the add-on because almost all the add-on they used to have Elementor in their name. So because they are meant for Elementor like that. So as you can see, this is we've installed this. Can you see the royal? So this one called with slider, carousel, testimonial, like that, gallery, nav menu. So it can help you to create all these stuff like that. Again, this is another one. So as you can see, create dynamic. We are going to be needing this one too later on. So let's install it because that's what we are going to use to create custom edge and footer like that. So again, install it like that. This is another add-on that you want to add. So as you can see, 90 plus Elementor widgets are like that. So can you see that it comes with different templates? So some of these things, instead of us designing from scratch, we just pick a template and that we adjust it. Not that you have to start creating all those container one by one like that. So you can add multiple. Let's add different one there like that, and we're able to pick from then and look at the one that is okay like that. So let's install all of them. So let's install all of them. Don't hang the system. So let's install all of them. I thought I click on this one. So this one come with different stuff like that, elements, kits. So let me click on them and wait for it. Once it's done. All right, so since all of them are done now, so we need to go back into plugin and activate the one we need to activate. Yes. Okay. So we need to go back to the plugin page. And as you can see, we need to activate them. So to activate all of them at once, so just uh, pick all of them like that so that we can do it at once, not that we'll be clicking them one by one. So select, then go to bulk action, then activate, and click on apply. So once it's done, it's going to activate all this plugin. So let's wait for it to activate all of them. It's not all of them that we actually need. It's just for us to be able to, check which one give us the better result. So when you are working in recent, once you install all of them and you check the one that you need, every other one that you don't need, just quickly remove them so that they don't really. So like this premium add-on now, let's see this. I don't like all this one that asks too much question. As you can see now, it bring out what are the stuff. So it has selected all this one. It's going to give us, this one is premium now, so we don't need it. Since it's premium, we cannot use it. So why do we need to include it like that? So we can just click on next like that. We don't need to upgrade anything. Next, don't need to do anything like that. Finish. Some of them too, they have some other pro widgets, but they give you some free like that. So we don't need to so this is the other one too, element kits. I like that. This is one we're going to be using to create header and footer later on like that. So here, if you need to create header and footer, we just come here and we'll create it, which is going to be another class on its own. But first, let's go back into our page and let's go back into our page. We don't need to create header and footer right now. We're going to be doing that one later on. So go back into the pages like that. As you can see, you're able to add all this navigation menu and all those reading progress into your, you can add, like when you go to some site, as you're moving, you start seeing that one line is moving at the top, which telling you that how far you are to the bottom side. So you can add it. That plugin has been added already, but we don't need it right now. So what we just need to do is edit with Elementor. Now, most of all those things should be part of our widget now. Before it was only Elementor widget is showing. So they will add all those widgets to the list so that you can pick from them. And again, to all the template too will have been updated. All right, it's loading, waiting, 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 waiting. Depending on the network and how big is your this thing. So it's loading all those widgets. Let me pause. Yeah, so this thing has been added. So let me click and close all this stuff. We need another section. Can you see now? A lot of things are now here. So that other widget now. So if you click on it, to bring out different the same for us like that. But I don't need this one. Uh, this is not what I want. I don't need to pick any template from here. Okay. Don't take time to load. Let me just close. As you can see, you can add page, sections and blocks. So just like that one. So, but I don't need the page. Section is what you need. And these sections you actually have that testimonial section. As you can see, it have free and it have pro. So you can just search for the one you are looking for depending on the network. So it have these are all this one are pro, but this one is free. So it have a lot of free more than that normal Elementor like that. What was it taking time to load? So let's search for category header, footer, services, hero, FAQ. This one will give you that accordion that used to be open and close. That's what we call accordion. Like that. So this one did not have. Let me close it. So again, this is another one. So element kits template. I even prefer this people one because it's open in the model like that. So it will load it out, and as you can see too, it have pages, it have templates like that. So and again, it has section in case you want to pick a particular section like that. Let's see the template for this. So as you can see, can you see that it have a lot? This one have full page template. That's not what I want. Let me go to section because I only need parts, which is that or you can even see it from here directly, all the same. But that all those one now you have to be combining them together. As you can see, that's the header section. This call to action. Which one is this? So this is mega menu, which is the one at the bottom part. Like that. This is pricing, but now this is now testimonial. As you can see, this is one testimonial like that. It comes with different functions that you can use. This is team, so this is another call to action, and at the top here you can actually search, so you don't need to start looking for the stuff. So testimonial, so it will only bring out testimonial. We don't need every other info like that. So let's wait for it and see whether any of their testimonial follows the one we want. So they can you see this one we want to follow like the one we want to use. This one here. But the problem is that the image is down, but the one we're working on, the image is up. But we can customize the stuff and remove what you don't need from there. Let me scroll down. Do we say I have another one that is close to that? I think it here too. This one is close to the one we need. I think that one at the top is okay. So what we just need to do, where are you again? Okay, there is it. So what we just need to do is to insert, and it's going to insert it as a new section for us. But let me check the one we're working on. So as you can see, it have the title at the top. Then from there, it have this. Then after that, it have this. But we did not. We're supposed to have prepared these sections down where we have this one where this is where it's going to insert the stuff. Then after it, we now have this button to get started like that. But we did not do that. But let's just wait for it to insert the stuff based on the network there like that. So yeah, so it has inserted the can you see now that the thing is moving, and we can customize this up by removing, because our one is not showing this stuff like that, so we don't want it to show like that. So how do you work with this in their widgets on their own too? So what you just need to click, as you can see, you can choose the style you want. So under this testimonial, you're going to see all of them. This is where you do the setting, and as you can see that quote icon, which I said we don't need. So what we can just do here is to remove it. So all the quote at the top, it will be gone like that because we don't need it. Or if you want to replace it with another stuff, so you put it there like that. So enable rating.
That image, like, and the image that you just.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the setting. So it depends on the setting that this thing is giving to us. So this rating too, I don't think the stuff is showing any rating. So there is no rating. So what we just do is to turn it off. So it will remove that one too. Like that, as you can see. So the rating, that's what we are changing the setting one by one. Like that. Again, this is now each one of them. So if you want to customize each one of them, these are them. This is where we'll be changing all those data about each one of them. So let's go under the setting and see what we can do there like that. So, okay, this is the spacing on the left, this is a padding. So the slider to show per line, like you can see that it's showing 3, 3, and that's the same thing as what is showing there. But on the mobile later on, it will not be 3, 3. It will be like 1, one. So when you get to responsive, you can see that it's showing that this is for desktop, but you can change the this view to okay to the mobile, then it will now be one. But for now we are dealing with desktop. Again, to slide to scroll like that, so which is taking autoplay, which is what it's doing right now. Is it going to be autoplay, or the user will be the one that have to be clicking on all this thing? Show arrow, that one is going to show arrow by the side like this, that you can click to move left and right, as you can see like that. But we don't need it. Again, too, as you can see that dot, we don't need it, so we remove the dots because we don't want to see the dots at all. Like that. Again, to pause on over. So once you're on top of it, it will not move again. It will just stop. That's what this one. Again, to these two settings, they are very important like that. So we don't need to remove it. Autoplay too is there, so it should be looping through the stuff. Let us publish for now. So publish. We need to update the title like that. But for now, let us publish and see what we have out there. But normally this is what we're supposed to have. What they have said like that. That's the only thing we need to have at the top. Every other subtext we don't need it. So let me just come to here and copy the text like this. So it has been published. What we just need to do now, go back to the page and we reload. Uh, let's reload, and once it's done loading, we should have our our testimonial section. It's loading. It's loading. Don't take time. Let me pause. Yeah, so now we have our testimonial like that. What we just need to do is to remove this section and update it with the correct text like that. So let's go back into the design. So click on this stuff. As you can see, there's the title. So we just need to replace it with our own text like that. So the tag is going to be that. We can change all the styling. So subtitle, I don't need it. I don't need the subtitle. No, that's not it. So where's the, which one is that one on that? Okay, this is the one. So we don't know, we don't need this one. So it's title description, we don't need it like that. So we don't need it. Let's turn it off so that this is the only thing we have. So now let's go into the style. So for the title, it needs to be bold. So for the color, it needs to be our color, which is going to be that dark blue like that. Over color, nothing is changing. So for the typographical there, it's just going to be the same thing too. We just need to change this one. We need to change. So he's using Igbo now, which is wrong. He's supposed to be using. So let me change it. I don't even need to do stuff. Let's just change it. It should be using our primary like that, and it will update it automatically. Based on, if you go back there, you see that if you go back to the content, so that it's using H2. So it will pick the setting that we did globally for H2. So if you change it to maybe like H4 now, as you can see, it will update the stuff automatically. It's still loading. It will update it because all these heading, they have global setting that has been done. And since it's looking for the global setting, it will pick it based on the heading you're using. But I will use H2 like that. Yeah, so H2 is better. And what other thing we need to do? We don't need to do anything with this section. The only thing we need to do now is to adjust the content of this thing, because if you look at it, we have the text like that. So, but I'm not going to do that because that's a waste of time. But to change it, well, I will do one, then every other one is just going to be the same. So to change them like that, we just need to click on this side again, and as you can see, open the testimonial. No, it's under the testimonial. So open the testimonial, then you are going to see each one of them. So this is the first person like that. So you can just click on it, and as you can see, this is the name that you want to show. So the name is going to be this Anisha Lee like that. So copy, then replace it like that. Then for the destination, does this person have anything like that? Let me see. Now it's only the name. So what we just need to do is to delete it. So there is nothing like that. So for the actual review, so go back there and just copy the text. That's the same thing for every other person. like that. So again, testimonial rating, if you need rating, we don't need rating. Then this is the avatar. If there's any logo, you can put it there, but let's change the image. So who is that person? Who is that person? Okay, is this lady? Like that. We just need to remove it. As you can see, this thing has added all those data into our data because they are required, but this is the person we want to use. So select like that, and it should initially should be this it. So it should change it here. So it has updated the image like that, and you can see uh background type like that. You can change background, but there's no setting for us to move this thing to the top like that. So there is no setting, but we can actually use CSS to do it because there is a CSS that will be applied on this thing. So what we can just do here is that we look for the, if they allow us to put HTML code or this thing now, once I save, there's a CSS class that will be there. So that CSS class now we can take it and we now move it to the top. So like that. But for now, I will leave it in that way. I will leave it like that. So let's quickly fill the other one too because I want the text to be balanced, or you can just copy it. So this one will copy and you'll be able to paste the stuff like that. I think let me remove the other one. Let me remove them. I will now duplicate that one at the top. So that's the one. Yeah, so it will duplicate the stuff like that. We just need to update the content. Or let me leave it like that. So how many? Because the time is fast spent already and it's still the same data. So there is no need of us waiting. This is training, so it's not like, but when you're working in recess, no, you have to replace all the data. But let me see how many are there. Then we can actually do it. Let's quickly do it. They are not that much. So let's copy the name like that. And you can see that I deleted the other one because I don't need to start filling. So and then go back into the stuff again. I don't need to change the other information. The only thing I will just be changing is the name. Every other thing remain the same because it's just normal text. So for this, where is the image? And who is there? Who is there? Who is there? Who is there? Okay, is this girl? Okay, load. Where are you? So this is it. So select like that. So collapse that one. So duplicate. Change the name. So that's Richard. Uh, yeah, Richard. And for the image, who is that one? Okay, it's this man. So choose image. And where are you? So this is a man. This thing is more than that. I think there's another person there too. Because I can see another lady up there. So that one too is done. So where is it? Let me collapse it. So collapse this one, which is this Richard. And the last one, because there's one another get too that is there. Or there's another data. Yeah, that sharing whatever stuff that is there. So open, update. So change the image. The image is going to be that lady at the top, which is this one. Open up, open up, open up. Yeah, this one. So select, and that's all. So collapse this one too, and now we can publish the stuff. But later on, the next class we'll be adding this button, work on that other section, and again start with how we can create our own custom header and footer using the plugin that have been installed already. We already have the plugin, so let's update the page. So this thing, if you want to do it yourself, it's going to take you more than the time that we just use now to do this thing. So yeah, we already have them. But this thing did not even allow us to change some of the setting, but I can actually use CSS to customize them myself. So you can see that all the elements you have there, there is a class on them, and that class is what I just need to look for. As you can see, there is elements, skits, testimonial, slider, block, style. So that's what I'm going to use to get this entire box. So inside that box, there is going to be some other element, but that one has moved. So there's going to be that one has moved again. So until it's get to the one I want, I can see that this thing is changing based on the screen because they've already applied some setting to this thing. You can see it's now 1 1. So look at our this thing too. This one too is working, but this number is supposed to be here, like that. Because according to the mobile, this is how it actually is like that. So if you go to the mobile, you see that that stuff is like that, but we need to make sure that the counter is, can you see, the background is different. So the background, the entire background is different. Like the entire this thing is different. We can't use that. We can't use that. It now moved the title up. The title is not down. We're going to see how to handle that once we started handling our responsiveness like that. But for now, is how it's just going to be because it look. So what this thing is saying is that the way we do the layout is not the way we're supposed to do the layout because now it's combining these two. Then after that, we now have this one. So which means the way we're supposed to do the layout, assuming we, and that's the reason why I always mention that you should check the two screen when you are creating the element, so that when you are creating the element, you know that you are going to account the mobile one in place of the desktop because you need to check the two and see how it is. The only thing we focus on is on the desktop. We do not check anymore. Actually, this is how we're supposed to create the stuff. So we have this container like that, like this. Then inside the container, you have this one. This is another container. But inside this container like that, you have this. Then you now have this. Then from there, like that, you now have this one. But there's going to be a problem. How do you move this one so that it's aligned under this place? That's where like grid comes in. So what we can do here, just like the way we did it before too, we can still do it like that, but it have to be grid. But when we're dealing with mobile, we'll come back into all this one. We might need to adjust it, or if we don't want to adjust it, we can create another element that will show on the mobile in place of the desktop own. Because sometimes you cannot use one element to represent them because of the layout is not possible with one element. So what you have to do is create the desktop one separately and create the mobile one separately there. Then what you now do is later on, you hide one based on the screen that you're working on. So the one that are meant for desktop will only show on desktop. The one that's meant for mobile will only show on mobile like that. But most of the time, you have to make sure that you arrange it in a way that you'll be able to style it like that. And what can we do? What we can just do here is to create the element by making sure, so like the one I draw here now. So if you want this one to align there, we have to make sure that another container is here so that we now have this one here. Then this one will now be by this side. So we always make sure that this one too matches the height or matches the width of this one, because that spacing, if you don't, if this one is on here, this one will just come here, and you cannot use padding to move it because it needs to depend on what is here. Because you know the content by this side is what that determine what weight this one will take. So if you don't put anything here and you're not using padding to adjust it, it will not work the way you want it to be like that. So the layout, that's why the layout is very important. The layout is not done properly, it will not work. But this one we have already is actually okay, but we can change all this into later because the background is not the same. But I can change it with the CSS because this background here now, as you can see, is using this color as the background. But this one now has its own background is just plain white like that. But that's not what's supposed to be there. And to do something like that, so what we can just do is to inspect the code. And now that this thing is just moving because it's to move out now. Yeah, don't move out again. And once you move out, you'll not be able to see the elements that you click on because you know it's going outside of the screen. So this what's this one? Nothing is here. Which one is this? Okay, let me expand it. I want the one that the box itself, the actual box. So I'll be able to, okay, this is where the kind, this is the profile, this is the class that is moving that profile down. So what we can do now, you can see margin button, they are doing all this margin button, whatever stuff. But what we can do is to just remove the stuff. You can see the image. This is the image that is loading. So this container now is what we just need to look at the class, then style it according to our own taste. Since they did not give us that option, so this is the entire box that is down. like that. So where's now the content? So let me collapse this one. So let me collapse this one. Okay, this is the content. So as you can see, the class element kit content like that. So this is the actual content. So let me see. No, that's not what I want. Is the entire container that we need to style. So where's the entire container? Don't slow down. Where's the entire container? Okay, I think yeah, this is what I'm looking for. As you can see, border color. This is where they say the border color. Like that. Border color. Come outside now. Where's that one? Okay. Let me expand it so that it's anytime you're on top of it, it will not move again. And where is that one? Oh, that one is still outside. Oh, it actually duplicated. Yeah, let me on top, move on top. So let me see. Okay, this is a box. So this is a class we need to look for, and we'll give it that background. So where is it? So let me look at the stuff. Scroll down. What's the name of the class? So the name of the class is this elements kit single testimonial slider, like that. So single testimonial slider. Even though there is some CSS they are doing there that they don't need to do, is just using grid. So oh, is it once again? So where is it? Element single. Okay, this is a class that I did not say you should select any everything. This thing is all right. So I want to get this class. Okay, let me just copy selector. So go into this place, press N, paste. This is the only one I need because I can see the all this one they are is being generated on the fly. That's why you see there's some random number there, but this one is always constant. There is no random number there, so that's why I need this one. So what I just need to do is to go there, to go into this place. So how can we add the code? So to add code, I think we've done something like that before. So to add the code, we need to look for the widget. So there is a widget there that you can use to insert code on your page. So what we just need to do, let's create a new container here. Let's just name in this container. So inside that container, we now place the code there like that. So where do we see the widgets? So where do we see the widgets? So go back here. There is HTML widget here. So where are you? HTML, 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 HTML. Let me just search for it. Yeah, so this is it. So just drag it here. So it will just be nothing. So what we now need to do is to start writing your HTML code. So style, like this. So inside the style, so paste the class. Then from there, background color is going to be, I think that our background color, which is, let me see what is using. Okay, he's using this like this light gray. Let me just use gray like this. Then we need to use important so that it will override whatever setting that is there before like that. And what is this thing doing? How many code did I put in? Can you see now that it has changed? But the gray is not the color. The gray is not the background color. So let me check. Uh, it's light one. So let me get the code. So going back to, because I don't want to start looking for the variable. I can actually go there and look for the variable. Oh, let's look for the, let's use the variable. So it is going to be var. So what's the name of our variable self? That's the problem. So what I need to do now is to go back, and I don't want to go to this site setting. So what we can do to know all your variable, to know all the variable that a site is using, just select the stuff, go to the HTML like this, then scroll down. Under this section, you are going to see all the variables. So can you see all of them? So these are the variables that have been set up on the root, because that's where we normally put the variable, on the root, so that it can be used everywhere. Once you place your variable in root, you can use it anywhere in your selector. So, and that's where you only see all variables. So we just need to look for that our color that we set up. Now these are their this thing. So let's look for the color. This thing should not hang my system. So WordPress spacing. Where are you? Okay. Where are you? Uh, uh, where's the color that was set up? I need to start looking. Well, look at some of the other one here. I think we can use this one, but that's not the color.
Like this one, down.
Mm, where did he hide our color? Almost leave it. All right. So what I will do here is just to go into in order not to waste time. So what we can just do, let me go into this the actual design file, like that. Go back, then open our style guide and copy the color there. So because normally I'm supposed to look for the variable name that is generating there, and we can actually get the variable name and the way it's created the variables, because I want to know whether it's using the same name that I use or it adds some random text at the back of it. But first, let me click on this one, style guide, like that. So style guide. So where is it? We have this. Uh, it should be this light. It should be this. Is that this? Yeah, it should be that. So just go back and apply the color. Yeah, you can see the border is not there. We don't need the border. So the border color should be transparent. Border color should be transparent. So important because we want it to override any setting that is there before. Again, if we want to move this in one, we just need to look for the class of this entire box. Then from there too, we apply the style. So there is nothing once, and that's the reason why you need to know how to code too, because there is some things you want to do that are custom that thing is not giving you, and you cannot tweak it from their setting. So what you do is get the class on that element and apply your script. And if it is JavaScript too, we just like what I mean from next class I want to talk about JavaScript, because you need to know about that one too there. So where is this one? Oh no, I said next class. It can't be next class because we've not finished this. So yeah, so let's wait for it to load. And once it's loaded, it should have the color instead of this one. But I will leave the name like this. I think it's looking nice. Okay, that should be all. That should be all. Oh yeah, load. Once it's done loading, I will end the class. Yeah, so it's done. Yeah, look at it. So you can see even the text too. If it's not aligned the way you want, just look at the CSS class, then apply whatever you want. Since they did not give us the setting for that, you have to be the one that will do that yourself. But I think it's okay now the way it is. It actually makes sense like this because it's matching the color that we have done. Okay, that should be all. So stop.